Joy Guru, I am Amalendu Chatterjee. I am an ex-associate professor and a SPR. If you like my content and deliberation, then kindly do subscribe to this channel of mine, namely Anukul Kotha, and I would also request you to comment and offer suggestions so that I can be enriched. Today, I would like to narrate a very short story, and I would like to review, judge, analyze this short story, and I would like to deduce some deductions. And in this connection, I would like to request you to get myself corrected if I do mistakes. Well, let me narrate the story at first. It all happened at Devghar Dham when Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra was at Devghar Dham. It is presently under Jharkhand state of India. Now one day, an old woman came to Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra. She was his initiated disciple, but she lived a place, I think named a kind of town, which the exact name I cannot recall it at this moment. However, that place was at least a couple of kilometers away from Devghar, and that particular lady wanted to visit Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra, and she came out from her house and waited for a vehicle, for a transport. At that point of time, by transport, only horse-drawn carriage and rickshaw, these two transports were available. No other kind of conveyance was available at that point of time. And she waited for almost 2 hours. But she didn't get any vehicle. At last, she decided something very unprecedented. She decided to walk to visit Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra. It was an inhumanly task for her, especially because she was suffering from a kind of rheumatic arthritis. She had pains in her legs. So therefore she was a bit handicapped, particularly to walk almost a couple of kilometers was definitely an inhumanly task for her. But she decided to go to visit to Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra. Yes, she had to take much pains, much sufferings, and but then ultimately she reached to Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra. She prostrated before Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra, and Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra at that point of time was holding an audience. As usual was with his case, he was surrounded by his disciples, and many people around. For example, some admirers and some critics also. Anyway, but then Sri Thakur keenly observed her and said, very compassionately said, "It seems that you have problems in your legs. So how have you come here?" Then that particular woman said that, I actually waited for almost 2 hours, but I didn't get any vehicle. Therefore, I decided to come to you by walking. Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra got absolutely stunned and said, "What are you telling? You have come here all by walking. This is really very much. This is really very strange to me. You have done wonders. So how have you done that?" Then that particular lady answered that, "Your grace, your kindness have enabled me to reach here." Now, hearing this comment, Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra answered something very new, something very novel. At least I haven't heard it before. He commented, first of all, he straightway rejected her conclusion, her statement, and said, "No, it is not due to my grace or kindness towards you. It is because of your untottering adherence untottering attraction, untottering attachment, and strong devotion that have enabled you to reach here? Just see his answer. Then, however, conversation drifted on another line. You see, Thakur, however, keenly heard her side of story, and then she departed. But before departure, she said that I have heard about philosopher's stone. In Bengali, it is called Poros Pathor. You know, Poros Pathor is a kind of, it's a I should say rather an instrument. If an object is touched with this Poros Pathor or philosopher's stone, that it suddenly turns into gold. Anyway, that particular woman commented that I have heard about philosopher's stone, but I haven't seen that. But now I have seen it in you. Saying this, she gradually departed. Now this is the story. Let us examine, let us review, let us analyze this story. The first aspect is that the alertness, the sensitiveness of Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra. Because when Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra seeing her, he immediately commented that it seems that you have problems in your legs. Very compassionately he said it. It means that he was all alert, he was all agile. Now, why? You see, it is almost, you can say, it is our general conception that a religious person or a spiritual person is generally indifferent, is generally unconcerned about the worldly affairs. But the life philosophy of Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra teaches us something different. Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra is of the opinion that religion or spiritualism makes a person more active, more alert, more agile. Just see how environment conscious Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra was, how ambience conscious, how surrounding conscious Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra was. Because he immediately understood the agony, the pain of that particular woman, and very compassionately asked her. Just see. So, I would like to say that there are very many misconceptions, false conceptions regarding religion. So, the first aspect is simply this, that religion teaches us to be more agile, to be more alert. This is number one. Number two is that just see the compassion, the sympathy, the empathy, the kindness of Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra. Because he said that he wanted to know how this woman have come to that place without any transport, and he actually shared her pain and agonies. So just see the compassion, and it is said that God is an ocean of kindness. At least this, I should say, this story indicates, this story tells us that Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra was a kind-hearted person. His sympathy, his empathy, his kindness, you see, he was all kind to every person, be it for a disciple, be it not for a disciple. It doesn't matter. He was all sympathetic to every person. You see, this is another aspect of this story. Now, the next aspect, I should say, of this story is simply this, that we can differentiate between a hypocrite, or you can say a fake sage, and a real master, a loving sage, a real saint. How? Because had he, that is Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra, been a hypocrite, then he would have acknowledged her conclusion, her comment, her statement that your grace, your kindness have enabled me to come here. No, Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra straightway rejected her statement and said, no, it is not because of my grace or kindness that have enabled you to come here. It is because of your own strong devotion, untottering adherence, attachment towards me, that have enabled you to come here. So just see the difference. Even if, not only that, say if he, or you can say had he been a hypocrite, at least he could have done this, that he could have smiled a bit. That is, to show the people who were around him, just see the power of my grace, of my kindness. You see, in this connection, I would like to say that religion. See, if a person practices religion, then he may gain some kind of occult power, because in Bengali it is called siddhai. You know, siddhai, it means that it's a kind of occult power gained by practicing austere practices, that is religious austere practices. But a real master, a loving sage, a real saint does not capitalize such siddhai, such occult power. Only a fake, a hypocrite, I should say, see, a vested interest, I should say a person with vested interest, he may use this occult power. So this is an example to show you that we can differentiate between a hypocrite and a real master. Because as I have already stated, that Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra did not want to get his publicity by telling that just see the power of my grace. Because had he been a hypocrite, then this incident, this statement of this particular woman, because her adulation, her praise, her statement would have been acted as propaganda, as publicity of Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra. Because the people who were around him would have understood the power of, you can say, the magical power of his grace. No, this is not the nature of a real master. As Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra straightway rejected her statement, because he didn't need that. He didn't need anyone's adulation, praise, or anyone's, any publicity. But then, yes, see, this woman was definitely a humble woman. There is no doubt about it. And in this connection, the another aspect of this story is simply this, that this particular lady wanted to visit Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra, and he understood the divinity of Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra. Why? Because just analyze the last statement of this particular woman before departure. She stated that, I have heard about philosopher's stone, but I haven't seen it. I have seen it in you. That means she understood the divinity of Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra. In this connection, I would like to say that if you examine with pride, if you test with pride to a real, real master, a loving sage, a real saint, then you will be deceived, because you will see yourself in him and come away deceived. This is the, I should say, this is the result. But then if you go or if you want to test him, if you want to examine him with all humility, with all humbleness, then definitely you will understand the divinity of the real master. There is no doubt about it. It is said that, not only said, as Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra has written in a book, the only book that he has written named Satyanusaram. He has written like this, not exactly this, that he can be rent into pieces by real humility. And he has also written that a proud man can examine a proud man. How can he fathom one whose pride is dissolved? And he has also stated that is, he is as strange and queer to him as a wise man to a stark illiterate. If a stark illiterate wants to examine a wise person, then he would get deceived as usually with the case. As Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra stated that a proud man can examine a proud man, but how can he fathom one whose pride is dissolved? So therefore, a real master is one whose pride is dissolved. Who has no pride, who has no ego. As Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra, for example, he had no ego, he had no pride. Had he been pride person, then he would have acknowledged her appreciation, but he didn't. So just see so therefore, if you really want to examine, if you really want to test a real master, then you need to go there. That is, you will have to be humble. You will have to test with all humility. Otherwise, you will be deceived. This is another angle, I think, of this story. And and the last angle, I should say, last but definitely not the least, is that you just see the strong devotion, the strong determination, the untottering adherence of this particular woman. Because actually, I should say, she knew the impediments, the barriers, the difficulties of crossing or walking a couple of miles, particularly for her who have been suffering from rheumatic arthritis. But still, she decided to walk. So, what is this? Here, I would like to say that in spiritualism there are two terms, namely one is known as Purushakar and the other is known as Doibu. What is Purushakar? That is, in English it is said that manliness. I am not at one with this particular statement because it is not gender specific. I would like to say the English of Purushakar should be humanliness, because a woman has all the capacity, has all the capability to do works. That is, she has also Purushakar. As a male has Purushakar, similarly a female has also Purushakar. Not that only it is the monopoly of male only, not at all. In spiritualism it does not mean like this. That is, Purushakar means that Purushakar. And what is Doibo? Doibo means that the consequence of activities of your previous births is, you may say it destiny, you may say it fate. For example, in this case, this particular old woman waited for almost 2 hours, but she didn't get any vehicle. How can we explain it? The only explanation we can say that it was her destiny, it was her fate that she didn't get any vehicle, within this prolonged period of time, isn't it? So it was her doibu. So it was her fate, it was her destiny. But this woman, this woman, I would like to say, this woman had the courage, had the determination, had the power to, to underestimate Doibo, and she relied upon Purushakar. Though it was difficult task, not absolutely difficult, it was definitely a very difficult task, a very Herculean task, an inhuman task, no doubt about it, for this particular woman to walk a couple of kilometers to reach to Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra. But after all, it was not absolutely impossible. It was, after all, an avenue, which was open to her. And she took this avenue and she was successful. She was successful because of the power of the devotion. So therefore, we need to understand that we should rely more upon Purushakar than upon Doibo, then upon destiny, then upon fate. So whatever avenues, whatever roads, whatever opportunities that I have in my possession, in my within myself, I must have to take opportunity. I must have to take the as many as opportunities that are open to me. So therefore, that particular lady did that. Now, another aspect of the story is simply this, that as Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra has explained, just see the power of devotion, just see the power of untottering adherence, untottering attachment, untottering attraction for real master. This power can do anything and everything. If you say this is magical, if you say this is supernatural, you will tell it. So that just see the power of devotion, the power of untottering adherence, the power of untottering attachment. Just see the power, the determination, the devotion. See, as this woman, I should say, is a glaring example of this particular strength, of this particular power. Just see her power, see her devotion, determination, and she was able to reach to Sri Thakur Anukul Chandra. So, in conclusion, I would like to say that we must rely more upon Purushakar than upon Doibu. We must tap every possible avenues to cross over the hurdles, to cross over the barriers, to cross over the impediments, to get, we can say, to get the godliness. So, and last but not the least, I must say that, you see, religion teaches us to be more alert, to be more agile, at the same time to be more kind-hearted, to be more sympathetic, to be more empathic. You see, empathetic, isn't it? And lastly, we see, religious also teaches us to cross over the barriers, the impediments, the hurdles. So, live in love, joy.